This is your daily news report as of Monday, November 1st. We all know that there's a worker shortage in America. Economists gave their top 4 reasons why people are not rushing back into the workforce, which we'll go over. There are 19 states suing the Biden administration over the federal vaccine mandates. I'll let you know the arguments being made in favor of the vaccine mandates and against the vaccine mandates. And I'd like to know your opinion. The G20 is a group of the 20 major economies in the world. The G20 held a climate meeting this weekend. It ended up going badly, and President Biden blamed it on China and Russia. Philadelphia is going to be the first major city to ban the police from making traffic stops for small violations like a broken taillights. The city hopes that this will stop the police from trying to arrest a driver for more serious offenses. The city wants to build trust between the police and the community, and they hope that this policy will spread to other cities. And on November 8th, there's going to be 2 major changes for international travelers. This is your Monday news, and I hope you're having a very nice day. This Friday on November 5th, the jobs report for the month of October will be released. The September jobs report was very disappointing and far below expectations. This upcoming report for October is considered unpredictable. Job openings are close to record highs. However, the U.S. economy is still down 5 million jobs compared to pre-pandemic levels. According to economists, here are the top 4 reasons why people are not rushing back to fill these job openings. So we're going to begin in no particular order. Number 1, many older adults have chosen to retire early, which has reduced the pool of available workers. Older adults are at a higher risk of complications from COVID-19, and many have decided that it's not worth the risk to go back to work. Number 2, there may be a record number of job openings, but it doesn't mean that those jobs are paying acceptable wages. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, wages have risen by $1 an hour or 4.5% in the past 12 months. This has not been enough to attract workers back. Ultimately, wages are still too low. Number 3, job growth slowed in August and September. This is when cases of COVID-19 were spiking. Economists are saying that the health risks associated with COVID have clearly played a role in getting people back to work. Number 4, many Americans cannot work from home. Taking care of children or other family members has made it difficult for many Americans to go back to work. Although most children are back in school, if there is an outbreak at school, or if your child gets COVID, then your child will most likely be quarantining at home. Or if a family member has a condition that makes them a high risk profile for COVID, the caretaking situation is extremely serious. Basically, the pandemic is still not allowing many Americans to get back into the workforce because of the caretaking situation. In political news, there are 19 states suing the Biden administration over the federal vaccine mandates. They're saying that the mandates violate federal law. About half the states are joining forces and they're suing in Missouri. Another half is banding together and suing in Georgia. Texas is suing individually. Now let me tell you the arguments that are being made from both sides. And regardless of whether you're a Republican, Democrat, or Independent, please let me know your thoughts and your opinion down below. So we'll start with the states. Essentially, the states are making the argument that federal vaccine mandates are an attack on people's civil liberties and freedom. The Texas Attorney General said, the Biden administration has committed repeated and abusive federal overreach to force upon Americans something they do not want. The federal government does not have the ability to strip individuals of their choice to get a vaccine or not. Missouri's Attorney General said, the federal government should not be mandating vaccinations, and that's why we filed suits to halt this illegal, unconstitutional act. New Hampshire's Attorney General said, COVID vaccines are safe, effective, and encouraged, but this does not justify violating the law. Additionally, there's an argument being made that the decision to get vaccinated is between you and your doctor. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach. For example, if you're a senior or have certain conditions, it may truly be a matter of life or death whether you get vaccinated or not. But if you're not in this category, then you shouldn't be treated the same as someone who is. To be clear, a healthy 18-year-old should not be given the same recommendation and treatments as a 90-year-old with asthma. It should not be a one-size-fits-all mandate. Essentially, it is being said that the mandates do not follow science. However, the Democratic Party of Georgia called these lawsuits a dangerous political stunt. The Biden administration is arguing that these vaccine mandates will help end the pandemic. The ACLU says vaccine mandates actually further civil liberties. They protect the most vulnerable among us, including people with disabilities, people with fragile immune systems, children too young to be vaccinated, and communities of color hit by the disease. The ACLU says vaccine mandates are public health measures necessary to protect people from severe illness and death. People do not have the rights to inflict harm unto others. Again, please let me know your thoughts on this matter down below. Thank you so much. In international news, the G20 is a group of the 20 major economies in the world. This includes the United States, China, India, Australia, Canada, Germany, Japan, Mexico, Russia, etc. The G20 countries make up 60% of the world's population and 80% of the world's gas emissions. At Sunday's G20 meeting, the Italian Prime Minister said, "The fight against climate change is the defining challenge of our times. Either we act now, face the cost of the transition, or pay a much higher price later and risk failing." On Sunday, the G20 struggled on a game plan. The countries offered very few commitments, and any commitments that were made were very loose. President Biden blamed China and Russia for not bringing any proposals or commitments. Biden said the disappointment relates to the fact that Russia and China basically didn't show up in terms of any commitments to deal with climate change. China, the world's largest emitter of CO2, has set a carbon neutral date of 2060. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says that he would like to see more ambition. Trudeau said, "There's no question that Canada, along with many other countries, would like stronger language and stronger commitments on the fight against climate change." So ultimately, the G20 climate summit did not go well because there was no consensus on how to move forward collectively. In current events, Philadelphia is going to be the first major city to ban the police for making small traffic stops like a broken taillight. The police can use minor violations as a way to arrest a driver for bigger and more serious crimes. The hope is that this new bill will prevent the police from instigating a dangerous interaction for a minor traffic stop. Councilmember Isaiah Thomas, who wrote the bill, said on Sunday, "Traffic stops are traumatic for drivers and scary for police officers. Limiting them makes everyone safer and communities stronger." The City Council said in their statements, the plan allows police to redirect time and resources towards safety while removing negative interactions that widen the divide and perpetuate mistrust. The hope is that this new rule will be adopted by other cities across America. On November 8th, there's going to be two major changes to America's international travel system. First, the international travel ban that has been placed on dozens of countries will be lifted. Second, it's going to be more challenging for unvaccinated Americans to return back to America. Currently, if you're returning from an international trip, you need to show a negative COVID-19 test 72 hours before your flight back to America. Now they're changing it to 24 hours instead of 72. The White House says for anyone traveling to the United States who cannot demonstrate proof of full vaccination, they will have to produce documentation of a negative test within 1 day of departure. Fully vaccinated Americans will still have a 3-day window, and exceptions will be made for children under 18 years old. And I wanted to end with this interesting survey. According to a survey conducted by Grinnell College, 52% of American adults feel that American democracy is in trouble. Only 7% of Americans have a high degree of trust in the federal government. Why this is troubling is best explained by Peter Hansen, a political scientist who said, "Low levels of trust in the government are associated with weak democracies worldwide. This is why this number concerns us." That's the news for today. If you enjoyed today's report, please be sure to subscribe. I thank you for your support, and I wish you a very nice day.